Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I wanted to go over a video that I made the other day. I made a video called 5 Things That I No Longer Do in Order to Save Money. And at the end of that video I said that there were a lot of other things that I did as well in order to save money, so that I was going to come back at a later date and do a video of 10 things that I actually do in order to save money. So we're going to start with those tonight. That's what we want to go over. The first thing that we did in order to be able to save extra money was get rid of our second vehicle. We had 2 cars. We didn't really need 2 vehicles because I no longer work outside of the house. So we were able to get rid of one of those vehicles and cut all of the expenses that we were paying to have that second vehicle and put that money back into our budget. So just by getting rid of one of our vehicles, we were able to save money on insurance, money on gas, money for registration fees, the money that we were spending on car repairs and inspection fees, and that totals up to be $4,813 for the year. So just by getting rid of one vehicle, we're saving almost $5,000 a year. And if we had needed that second vehicle, we would have kept it. But with only one of us working outside of the house, one vehicle is actually plenty for us at the moment. The second thing that we do in order to save more money in our budget is we stay home a lot more. We don't go out, and we don't go to town every day for running errands. We set one day a week to do specific errands, go into town, do our grocery shopping, whatever else we need to do for that week. We do it in that one trip. If we can't get everything in the same trip, we will make a second trip if it's necessary. But most of the time, one trip is all it takes. So just by cutting out all of those extra trips that we were making in the run of a week, we're saving about $1,300 for the year. Because if you're only in town once a week, you're only buying coffee once a week, you're only grabbing something to eat once a week instead of 3 or 4 times. So just that one little change is saving us $1,300 a year. The next thing on the list, item number 3, is we switched everything that we could to store brands instead of name brand products. You can hear my cat in the background. He's very talkative. I don't buy name brands for most of the items that I buy now. There are still a few that I will buy, especially if they're on sale. I will buy them if I can get them at a comparable price. But for the most part, a lot of our groceries, anything that I can get at a store brand, I will, because they're normally cheaper. For the most part, they are comparable in quality. And doing that has saved us probably $20 a week, which works out to $1,120 a year. That is quite a savings. Basically, we're getting the same products we were getting before. We didn't stop buying things. We just switched to a cheaper brand. We did reduce our eating out by about 75%, which is, and we cook at home a lot more. It's better for us. I'm at home anyway, so cooking is not a big deal most of the time. There are the odd time we still actually do eat out. We didn't get rid of it completely, but just by reducing it by about 75%, that's $3,120 a year. That is now still in our budget that we can put towards something else. Number 5 on the list is we set a budget and we stick to it. If we find that we've got a budget that is not doing what it's supposed to do, it's not covering or meeting our needs, then we adjust that. I go over it about once a month and I see if I normally I would allow $200 for bi-weekly groceries. If I find on a regular basis that I'm spending $220, let's say, I will eventually increase that to cover that $220 if it happens enough times that I know that this is going to be the norm for us. I can make that adjustment when it's necessary. And that's why it's important to reevaluate. It doesn't have to be every month. You could reevaluate every 3rd month, every 6 months, whatever works for you. I try and do it once a month because I want to keep on top of things. And I'm constantly looking, checking to see if there is a way that I can reduce the budget so that I can save more. Um, an example of that is that a few days ago we decided that we were going to start making dog treats at home instead of paying $20 a week for dog treats that we buy and have been buying for years, which is actually going to leave me an extra $20 a week that I can put into another envelope just by taking that small thing, making one little change. That's $80 a month. And I mean, that will add up. So that's just one example of how you can make one small change and it can actually add up to a lot of money over the course of the year. Number 6 on the list is I save all of my coins. And we are cash shoppers now. When you shop with cash in an envelope, you become a cash shopper. So now anytime we go shopping, we get change back. Every time we come home, that change goes directly into a coin bottle. It does not stay in my purse. I don't use it for shopping the next time I go. I put it in the bottle. That is, it's our savings for the year. It adds up. Last year we added up. It was slightly, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was over $800 for the year, and that's just saving coins. That is actually a good chunk of money when you add it to all the rest of this stuff, which I'm going to do at the end, I think. Number 7 is I don't have my nails done anymore. I don't have my hair done anymore. I color my own hair. I've been doing that probably since I was 16. I have had my hair done in the beauty salon at a cost of about $150 plus tax and tip. And I just decided that was not something that I was willing to pay for. So by doing my own hair, I'm saving roughly about $600 a year. And by doing my own nails, I save about $1,100. So the total combined savings for those two things is about $1,700 for the year, which I cannot justify spending that kind of money on hair and nails. I just can't do it. We don't have that kind of an income. The next thing we did was we cut spending for gift giving. And that doesn't mean that we are buying cheaper gifts. We just eliminated a lot of the people that were on our list. It's nice to think that you can buy for everyone. It's great to think that you can buy for all your family and their kids and the neighbors and friends at work, just basically everyone. And I'm sure if we all had an endless budget, we could all do that. But we're not in that position anymore, so we don't do that. I set limits for what I do buy, and I try and stick to it the best I can. I buy for immediate family. That means parents, children. So I only have one parent living. I buy for my mother every year on birthday and Christmas. I have one child, and he has a girlfriend. I buy for both of them every year for birthday and Christmas. But we limit it to that. We used to buy for all of our family, but it was just, you're talking $1,000 just for people that are not your immediate family. And we just can't afford to do that. That was a place that we were really overspending. So we don't do that anymore. What we do is we will send Christmas cards, or we put a card with a homemade gift, like baked goods, a container of fudge, a container of cookies or squares, something like that, just to show that we're thinking about you. Here are some goodies, add them to your Christmas table, just something. But we don't go and spend money on all these people because we just don't have it. And if you try and do that, you're just taking money out of something that something else that should be going towards. So we just don't do that anymore. These are all adults. We're not talking about small children. Everyone in our family, they are adults. They have their own incomes, and if they want something or they need something, they will get it for themselves. So there's no point in taking $15 or $20 to buy something for someone that they really don't need. They may not even want. So a Christmas card is nice, and a homemade gift is nice. Moving on, number 9, I shop secondhand whenever possible. And that is for just basically everything except for shoes. I will go secondhand shopping for clothing, furniture, appliances. All of my vehicles have always been secondhand. I don't believe in spending an exorbitant amount of money for things when you can get them secondhand at a savings of about 50 to 70% on most things. I have been a secondhand shopper my whole life because I was raised basically poor. We had to secondhand shop because we didn't have the money to go to retail stores unless it was absolutely necessary. And I still don't. I will if it's necessary. If I can't find something secondhand and I need it right now, I will buy from a retail store, but I prefer not to. The one exception to that is shoes. I will not buy secondhand shoes. I have very large feet, a very wide foot, and I have bad knees. So I need to be stable on my feet, and I will not buy a pair of shoes that someone else has already worn and gotten their foot imprint in. I need to feel comfortable in my shoes, and I just don't. It's not something that I've ever had to do. It's not something that I'm willing to do. These things, yes, I will buy secondhand clothing, furniture, appliances. I prefer that, but I will not buy secondhand shoes. Next, number 10 on the list. There's actually a couple more here. I got carried away. I try and postpone big purchases if I can until we absolutely have to make them, or until we can find it at a really good price. The example of that is a cell phone. I am still using an iPhone 8. I will be replacing it this year, but the reason I've waited this long is because it still works. I don't really need a cell phone. I am at home most of the time. I have a home phone. So I use my cell phone for picture taking. I use it for making these videos. But as far as taking calls, I don't. I don't even have a phone plan connected to that phone anymore. So that actually saves us about $40 a month by not having the cell phone plan. I own the phone. I've owned it for years. I do need to get a new one because this one is not going to be supported for very much longer. So I wouldn't be able to use it even if I wanted to. But the thing is that we have a second phone plan that we took out 2 years ago when we went to Europe. We needed a new phone. I wanted to be able to make sure that we could communicate with everybody that we could to get good service. So we took out a cell phone plan with a brand new phone and a good data plan that went with it, which is quite expensive. It's about $156 a month is what we've been paying for that for 2 years. But that is the you own the phone plan when you're done. That's not the when you're done with the 2-year contract, you return the phone to us in good condition plan. So that cell phone will be ours. And we'll continue to use that for probably another 2-3 years because it's still a top quality phone. It was an iPhone 15 Pro Max. So that's something that we can continue to use. Once that plan is paid for, which it will be in May, then we will consider the second phone at that time. And I will either buy my phone outright or I will put it on a plan as well. Number 11 is I have a no spend month or a no spend week going on regularly. It's like this month. We're doing a no spend month. We just went through December, Christmas, got a lot of gifts, did a lot of spending. So this month we are in a no spend month. And we do that about 4 times a year. I try to do it in January, April, July, and October. And that saves us about $1,600 a year that we just don't use for spending. Now, if something comes up in one of these months and we have to have something, it's not a problem. We will buy it. We'll do what we need to do. But as far as just taking the money and spending it because we have it, we don't do that. We buy basic necessities only in these months. Like I said, unless something pops up that we have to have, this is what we do. And if we can't do the no spend month, we'll do a no spend week. Even if you can do a no spend week, you'd be surprised at how quickly that adds up. So I guess that is probably it for this time. I just wanted to give you a few ideas of things that we do or that I've changed in order to have extra money in our budget. Because this is not extra money that we are bringing in over and above what we had before. This is the exact same income that we had before. We're just not spending all this extra money anymore. So it adds up to quite a bit of savings. I think it's over $14,000 and change, just under $15,000 when you go through and you add up all these savings. And over the course of the year, that's money that we can put towards anything we need to do, like a vacation, emergency fund, savings, gifting, whatever. It's money that we have, that we've always had, that we just were putting in other places. So we're just using it better now. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for tonight. You all have a great evening, and thanks for watching.